Imagine reaching a stage in life where you've achieved success, gained experience, and learned countless lessons. Yet the one thing that still feels confusing is love. Many older men believe relationships become easier with age, but psychology tells a different story. In fact, some of the biggest relationship mistakes happen not because of a lack of experience, but because of outdated beliefs, emotional habits, and silent expectations that go unnoticed. What if the very qualities you think make you attractive are actually pushing genuine connection away? What if the secret to lasting love has nothing to do with money, status, or appearance, and everything to do with emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and understanding female psychology? In this video, we're going to uncover powerful psychological insights that explain how attraction evolves with age, why emotional stability is more valuable than charm, and what women truly appreciate in a mature man. These lessons aren't about manipulation or playing games. They're about becoming the kind of man who naturally builds trust, respect, and meaningful relationships. Whether you're single, dating, or already in a relationship, these psychological principles can completely change the way you understand love. So make sure you watch until the very end, because the final lesson may be the one that transforms your perspective forever. And before we begin, if you're passionate about relationship psychology, female psychology, emotional intelligence, and human behavior, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our weekly psychology videos designed to help you build healthier, stronger, and more meaningful relationships. Now, let's discover the psychology of love that every older man should know. Many people believe that attraction is strongest when someone is young, energetic, and physically impressive. While appearance may create a first impression, psychology shows that lasting attraction often develops through something much deeper. As people mature, the qualities that make someone truly desirable begin to shift. Emotional stability, self-control, and genuine confidence gradually become more valuable than physical charm alone. This is one of the most important lessons every older man should understand if he wants to build meaningful and healthy relationships. A woman may notice someone's appearance first, but she decides how safe, respected, and emotionally connected she feels based on his behavior. An older man who remains calm during disagreements, listens without immediately reacting, and handles challenges with maturity, creates an emotional environment that feels secure. Human psychology suggests that people naturally feel more comfortable around those who regulate their emotions instead of allowing anger, frustration, or insecurity to control their actions. Emotional stability quietly communicates strength without needing to prove it. One common misunderstanding is that confidence comes from speaking the loudest or always having the final word. In reality, genuine confidence often appears through patience. A man who does not feel the need to impress everyone, argue over every opinion, or constantly seek approval demonstrates a level of self-assurance that many people find attractive. This kind of confidence is built through experience, self-awareness, and personal growth, rather than external validation. Another important psychological factor is consistency. Trust is rarely created by grand romantic gestures. Instead, it develops through small actions repeated over time. Being dependable, keeping promises, communicating honestly, and showing respect even during difficult moments helps strengthen emotional bonds. These behaviors allow a relationship to grow naturally because they reduce uncertainty and increase emotional safety. As people get older, life often brings both success and disappointment. Some individuals allow painful experiences to make them emotionally distant, while others use those experiences to become wiser and more compassionate. The difference is significant. Emotional maturity does not mean pretending that pain never existed. It means learning from it without allowing it to define every future relationship. When a man approaches love with openness instead of fear, he creates space for genuine connection instead of emotional walls. Psychologists also explain that emotional intelligence plays a major role in relationship satisfaction. This includes recognizing your own emotions, understanding the feelings of others, and responding thoughtfully instead of impulsively. A man who listens carefully before giving advice, respects different opinions, and communicates with kindness often leaves a stronger emotional impression than someone who relies only on status or appearance. Feeling understood is one of the deepest emotional needs in any relationship. Interestingly, emotional stability also influences how conflicts are handled. Every relationship faces misunderstandings, but emotionally mature individuals focus on solving problems rather than winning arguments. They ask questions, seek understanding, and remain respectful even when emotions run high. This approach strengthens trust because it shows that the relationship matters more than personal pride. Perhaps the greatest advantage of maturity is perspective. Older men have the opportunity to understand that real love is not built through perfection, but through consistency, honesty, and mutual respect. Physical attraction may open the door, but emotional stability is often what encourages someone to stay. In the end, the strongest relationships are not created by those who appear the most impressive on the outside, but by those who provide peace, reliability, and emotional security through their everyday actions. One of the biggest mistakes many older men make in relationships is believing that life experience automatically guarantees relationship success. Experience certainly provides valuable lessons, but it can also create habits and emotional patterns that quietly damage new relationships. Psychology suggests that past experiences influence how people think, react, and connect with others. If those experiences are never examined, they can become invisible barriers that prevent genuine emotional intimacy. Many men who have gone through disappointment, heartbreak, or betrayal begin protecting themselves without realizing it. They become emotionally reserved, avoid expressing vulnerability, or expect every relationship to end the same way the previous one did. While these behaviors may feel like self-protection, they often communicate emotional distance instead. A partner may interpret this silence as a lack of interest rather than emotional caution. Another common mistake is assuming that providing financial stability or practical solutions is enough to maintain a healthy relationship. While responsibility and dependability are valuable qualities, emotional connection requires more than solving problems. People naturally want to feel heard, appreciated, and emotionally understood. When conversations focus only on fixing situations instead of understanding feelings, emotional closeness can slowly fade. Psychology also explains the impact of confirmation bias. This is the tendency to notice evidence that supports existing beliefs while ignoring information that challenges them. For example, if a man believes that people eventually become untrustworthy, he may unintentionally focus only on behaviors that confirm that belief. Small misunderstandings begin to feel like proof of betrayal. Even when no harmful intention exists, this mindset creates unnecessary tension and prevents trust from developing naturally. Another mistake is becoming overly controlling in the name of experience. Some older men believe they always know the best solution because they have lived through more situations. While advice can be helpful, constantly correcting, directing, or making every decision can make the other person feel unheard. Healthy relationships grow through mutual respect and shared decision-making, not through one person assuming complete authority. Feeling valued often matters just as much as receiving guidance. There is also the tendency to compare every new relationship with past ones. Statements like "my last relationship was different" or silently measuring a new partner against previous experiences can create unrealistic expectations. Every individual has a unique personality, communication style, and emotional needs. Psychology encourages approaching each relationship with curiosity instead of comparison, because comparison often prevents people from appreciating the person standing in front of them. Emotional availability is another area where many men struggle without recognizing it. Some believe that showing emotions is a sign of weakness, especially if they were raised in environments that discouraged emotional expression. However, emotional intelligence research consistently shows that healthy vulnerability strengthens trust. Sharing thoughts, admitting mistakes, and expressing appreciation demonstrate confidence rather than weakness. These behaviors invite deeper emotional connection because they create honesty instead of emotional distance. Pride can also become an obstacle. After years of independence, admitting fault may feel uncomfortable, yet relationships thrive when both people are willing to apologize, learn, and grow together. A sincere apology does not reduce respect. It often increases it because it reflects accountability and emotional maturity. Ultimately, the greatest relationship mistake is believing that growth ends with age. Human psychology shows that emotional development continues throughout life. The men who build the strongest relationships are not those who believe they already know everything, but those who remain open to learning, adapting, and understanding both themselves and the people they care about. Wisdom is not measured by the number of years lived, but by the willingness to continue growing with every new experience. In today's world, many people assume that authority, social status, or financial success are the primary factors that create attraction. While these qualities may gain attention, psychology suggests that they are not enough to build deep emotional connection. Modern relationships are shaped more by emotional intelligence than by authority. A woman is more likely to remain emotionally connected with someone who understands her feelings, communicates respectfully, and creates a sense of emotional safety than with someone who simply expects respect because of his age, experience, or position. Emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. Before understanding another person's emotions, it is important to recognize your own. A man who understands why he feels frustrated, disappointed, or anxious is less likely to react impulsively during difficult situations. Instead of allowing emotions to control his behavior, he learns to respond thoughtfully. This ability creates a calm and stable environment where healthy communication can take place. Psychology shows that emotional regulation is often associated with maturity, confidence, and long-term relationship satisfaction. Listening is another powerful expression of emotional intelligence. Many conversations fail because people focus on preparing their next response rather than genuinely understanding the other person. Active listening means paying attention without interrupting, judging, or immediately offering solutions. Sometimes a woman simply wants her emotions to be acknowledged before discussing possible answers. Feeling understood creates emotional closeness because it communicates respect and empathy. Authority often depends on control, but emotional intelligence depends on connection. A man who constantly tries to dominate conversations, make every decision, or prove that he is always right may unintentionally create emotional distance. Healthy relationships are partnerships built on mutual respect, not competitions about who has more knowledge or life experience. When both individuals feel that their opinions matter, trust grows naturally over time. Empathy also plays a central role in modern relationship psychology. Empathy is the ability to understand another person's perspective even when you do not completely agree with it. This does not require abandoning your own beliefs or accepting unhealthy behavior. Instead, it means recognizing that every person has unique experiences that shape their emotions and reactions. Responding with curiosity instead of criticism encourages open communication and reduces unnecessary conflict. Another important aspect of emotional intelligence is emotional consistency. Grand romantic gestures may create excitement for a short time, but consistent kindness, honesty, and reliability build lasting trust. A man who treats his partner with respect during both peaceful and stressful moments demonstrates emotional maturity. These everyday actions often leave a stronger impression than expensive gifts or impressive achievements because they create predictability and emotional security. Psychology also explains that confidence without humility can easily become arrogance. Truly confident individuals do not need to constantly remind others of their accomplishments or demand admiration. They remain respectful, accept feedback, admit mistakes, and continue learning. This balanced confidence makes interactions feel comfortable rather than intimidating. It allows both partners to grow together instead of one person always trying to maintain control. Modern relationships value emotional partnership more than traditional authority. People want to feel appreciated, accepted, and emotionally supported. They are drawn toward those who encourage honest conversations, respect personal boundaries, and handle disagreements with patience rather than anger. These qualities create an atmosphere where love can develop naturally without fear or unnecessary pressure. Ultimately, emotional intelligence is not about being perfect. It is about being willing to understand yourself, respect another person's emotions, and communicate with maturity. While authority may gain temporary attention, emotional intelligence creates lasting connection. In the long run, the strongest relationships are built not by those who seek control, but by those who consistently choose understanding, empathy, and mutual respect. One of the most misunderstood aspects of relationships is the difference between making someone feel valued and trying to control their life. At first glance, these behaviors can appear similar because both may involve attention, protection, and involvement. However, psychology explains that they come from completely different emotional motivations. Making someone feel needed is rooted in care, appreciation, and mutual support, while controlling behavior is often driven by fear, insecurity, or the desire to eliminate uncertainty. Understanding this difference is essential for building healthy and lasting relationships. Every person has a natural psychological need to feel important in the lives of those they care about. Feeling appreciated creates a sense of belonging and emotional connection. When a man expresses genuine gratitude, seeks his partner's opinion, and acknowledges her efforts, he communicates that she has a meaningful place in the relationship. These small but consistent actions strengthen emotional intimacy because they satisfy one of the most basic human needs. The desire to feel seen and valued. Control, on the other hand, often develops gradually and may not even be intentional. It can begin with constantly checking where someone is, questioning every decision, expecting immediate responses to messages, or believing that love should involve knowing every detail of another person's life. While these behaviors may be justified as concern or protection, psychology suggests that excessive monitoring often reflects anxiety rather than genuine care. Over time, this reduces trust instead of strengthening it. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, not constant supervision. When two people trust each other, they allow space for individuality while remaining emotionally connected. This balance is important because every person needs a sense of independence alongside emotional closeness. Feeling trusted encourages honesty, while feeling controlled often encourages emotional withdrawal. People naturally become more open when they know they are respected rather than managed. Another important psychological concept is autonomy. Research consistently shows that individuals experience greater relationship satisfaction when they feel free to make choices and express themselves without fear of unnecessary criticism. Supporting a partner's personal goals, hobbies, friendships, and growth demonstrates confidence rather than insecurity. It communicates that love is based on respect, not possession. Communication also reveals the difference between care and control. A caring person asks questions to understand, while a controlling person asks questions to gain power over the situation. For example, asking, "How are you feeling today?" invites emotional connection. Asking questions only to monitor, criticize, or challenge someone's decisions creates pressure instead of comfort. The intention behind communication often determines how it is emotionally received. Older men, in particular, may sometimes believe that taking charge of every situation is a sign of responsibility. Experience can certainly provide valuable guidance, but wisdom also includes knowing when to step back and allow another person to contribute equally. A relationship flourishes when both individuals feel respected, heard, and capable of making meaningful decisions together. Leadership in a healthy relationship is not about dominance. It is about setting an example through patience, integrity, and emotional maturity. Trust also plays a critical role. Trust cannot exist where every action is questioned or every mistake is treated as proof of failure. Building trust requires consistency, honesty, and the willingness to believe in each other's good intentions, unless there is a genuine reason not to. When trust becomes the foundation, the need for control naturally decreases, because security comes from the relationship itself rather than constant reassurance. Ultimately, the strongest relationships are those where both people feel appreciated without feeling restricted. Love grows when individuals inspire one another, support each other's personal development, and communicate with kindness instead of fear. The goal is never to control another person, but to create an environment where both partners willingly choose each other every day. That is the true psychology behind lasting emotional connection and healthy, mature love. One of the most powerful psychological truths about attraction is that people are naturally drawn to those who value themselves without constantly seeking approval from others. Validation is a normal human need, but when someone depends on it for their confidence or happiness, it can quietly weaken both self-respect and relationship quality. This is especially important for older men who may believe that constantly proving their worth is necessary to maintain love or attention. Psychology explains that confidence becomes most attractive when it comes from within rather than from external praise. A man who constantly seeks reassurance, fears rejection, or changes his personality to gain acceptance often communicates insecurity without realizing it. On the other hand, someone who knows his values, respects himself, and remains authentic creates a sense of emotional stability that others naturally appreciate. This does not mean becoming emotionally distant or pretending not to care. Healthy confidence is not about ignoring people or playing psychological games. It is about understanding that your value does not depend on another person's approval. When a man enjoys his own life, continues to grow, and maintains his purpose, he brings positive energy into a relationship instead of expecting the relationship to become his only source of happiness. Emotional independence also creates healthier communication. Instead of reacting out of fear or constantly needing reassurance, emotionally secure individuals can discuss problems calmly and respectfully. They express their thoughts honestly and accept that disagreements are a normal part of every relationship. Ultimately, lasting attraction is built on mutual respect rather than constant validation. The strongest relationships are formed when both partners appreciate each other while maintaining their own self-worth. A man who values himself, continues learning, and approaches love with confidence instead of desperation, creates a relationship based on trust, emotional security, and genuine connection rather than the endless need for approval.